Section 10.1, Introduction to Integers. The set of integers are negative numbers, 0, positive numbers, but you'll notice the set of integers does not include fractions or decimals. Everything to the left of 0 is negative, everything to the right of 0 is positive, but again, no fractions or decimals. If we were to place a greater than or less than symbol between the two numbers shown here, which one would we choose? You may be tempted to choose -7 as being larger because 7 is larger than 5, but because we're working with negative numbers, -5 is actually larger. If you think in terms of the number line, the number -5 is further to the right than -7. In terms of -12 and -8, again, you may be tempted to say that -12 is larger, but -8 is actually larger. So -12 is less than -8. Again, -8 is further to the right on the number line than -12. Name the number that is 3 units to the left of -1 on the number line. If you were to draw a number line, which sort of looks like a ruler, but remember, rulers can't have negative numbers, we start at -1 and then we jump 1, 2, 3 units to the left of -1, we land on -4. This would be equivalent to -1 plus -3. Another question, name the number 5 units to the right of -5. So again, in terms of the number line, start at -5 and then jump 5 units to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 0. This would be equivalent to saying -5 plus +5, which would give you 0. Let's talk about opposites. Opposites are numbers that have the same distance from 0. An example would be the numbers 4 and -4. They are opposites because their distance from 0 is 4, whether you're looking at the right or the left. Absolute value is defined as the distance between 0 and a number on the number line. The symbol used is a set of vertical lines. For example, the absolute value of 3 is equal to 3 because the number 3 is exactly 3 units from 0 on the number line. Let's try another example. The absolute value of -2 equals 2 because the distance between -2 and 0 on the number line is 2 units. There is no such thing as a negative distance, so that is why absolute value always ends up being positive. Let's try some other examples. Let's solve the absolute value of -7, the absolute value of 13, the absolute value of 0, and negative absolute value of -9. Okay, let's start with -7. The absolute value is 7 because the distance between 0 and -7 on the number line is 7. The absolute value of 13 is 13 because the distance between 0 and 13 on the number line is 13, or 13 units. The absolute value of 0 is simply 0 because the distance between 0 and itself is 0 units. Now this one is tricky. What you need to do first is evaluate the absolute value. So the absolute value of -9 itself is 9, and then you multiply the result by -1. So this negative on the outside is actually multiplication by -1, but you must evaluate that absolute value first. Also remember that absolute value symbols do not work the same way as parentheses. In a situation where you have parentheses and you have a negative and then another negative, that would become a positive, but they are not the same roles as absolute value.